This is going to be a segment where we deep dive into the big reveal of the Transformers Age of the Primes Titan class Star Optimus Prime, aka Star Convoy. All his little details, what's to come, everything, and so on. We're going to dive knee deep into CybertronCon China that's happening this weekend. Between the panels, the footage, the in-person examples of our future Titan class, and all the other products coming into 2025, we're going to get a really good idea of what's going down here. A lot more of the nuance and the details, and even a lot of the more not so obvious stuff, and why you're here today listening. And I'm going to talk to you today, for this segment at least, the brilliance of this Star Optimus Prime and what's really going on here. It's not just a product by Hasbro, but from its lore and all those deep cuts going into Transformer history, it's pretty crazy. So let's jump into it like we always do here on the Transformers Slag podcast. We're going to start first. Of course, with that box. This big Titan class box that has a new lower MSRP price point of $159.99. More on that later. Featuring Star Optimus Prime, which they title here as the 13th, cementing that he is the 13th Prime. So along with the other original 13 Primes in the background, we get his various modes, be it his robot mode, his base mode, and his vehicle mode. He is holding in his hand the Zodiac, the special energy that gave birth to our universe and made the Big Bang. It was hidden inside the core of planet Earth, and it's why our fair planet always seems to be the center of attention in all of the universe's drama, because in the center of our planet is the Zodiac, which created all. Long story short, after Optimus Prime died his second time in the Headmaster's Japanese cartoon, he was revived using the Zodiac energy combined with the Matrix of Leadership from the returning Rodimus Prime that went on his spiritual journey. That gave birth to Star Convoy, aka Star Optimus Prime. Now, Star Optimus Prime, being one of the 13th, has a lot of meanings outside of what he was being called years ago, at least during Transformers Prime, where he was the 13th Prime and all of that. There's something deeper going on here. At CybertronCon, they gave out this poster featuring all of the original 13 in their much more historical depictions, which obviously most of them are going to represent what the toys look like. And in it, we saw the 13th in it, which was clearly a very Star Convoy-looking body, but with some visual cues and differences. This 13th Prime has the emblem above it, which has the star emblem, much like how the Zodiac in the center of the Earth had a star shape to it when it was being contained. A lot of deep lore going on there. And again, there was this 13th Prime before Optimus, and this 13th Prime always destined to carry the Matrix of Leadership after Prima, and combining the Zodiac with the Matrix of Leadership gave birth to this Optimus Prime that looks similar to this dude in his Cybertronian origins. It's why this 13th Prime on the statue looks different from Optimus Prime, but does share similarities in their final design. It's infusing that power of the past into him. It's all pretty heavy stuff, let's be real, but it doesn't end there. Let's get into the toy itself and just how much more brilliant things get here. So the Star Optimus Prime toy is smaller than most Titan classes, but that's more in line with the original 13, where they were these huge warriors that were larger than your standard size Transformers and even like a standard size Optimus Prime, getting a power from the past, making this huge like figure, this huge item. Not to mention that the Zodiac energy itself gifted the Power Masters, like the former Cybertron Commander, Diatlas, and of course Sonic Bomber. They ended up getting base modes also from the Zodiac energy. And it's no different here with the Star Optimus Prime, aka Star Convoy, with his base mode also being a feature here, like the original 91 toy. And again, speaking of the original 1991 toy, this is a beautiful modern update of that toy, giving it more articulation than the original version ever was designed to do, while maintaining all of those great concepts and ideas that while the original had, the Generation Selects that we got afterwards took a lot of liberties with and kind of phased out. So while the Generation Selects one had a really good final robot mode, everything else that really encompassed a Star Convoy was absent with it. This Titan class Star Optimus Prime comes with his big bang cannon, his big, gun, and a sword hilt piece that's very similar to that of the Prime Saber. And this like hilt piece, along with the big bang cannon, could have blast effects plugged into it. There's 2 separate blast effects that could be plugged as a blast effect for the gun itself, or to make kind of a sword sheath, if you will, or sword piece for the sword itself. So you got 2 different styles to customize with your sword here. It could be maybe even a spiritual version of, like, let's say the Star Saber, but maybe not so much in lore of this case. The truck mode stays true to the original 1991 toy, and that 1991 toy, and even this one here, is a classic case of the fusion of the Zodiac along with the Matrix of Leadership that was carried by Rodimus Prime all those years, that gave birth to an alt mode that was a mixture of Rodimus Prime's alt mode and Optimus Prime's, and kind of giving that fusion of the two. It's always been suggested slightly through the lore, specifically by Sakamoto-san, through the Legends books and the comics and stuff and mangas. And it continues that fusion of the 2 chosen ones by Primus in that Zodiac energy with Star Convoy right here. And speaking of the other chosen one...
All right, Hot Rod is back! Let's party!
Hot Rod is back, baby. Hot Rod is back. One of the biggest selling points of the original 1991 Generation 1 Star Convoy Japan toy was that he came with a Micromaster Hot Rod. The first time any major G1 character was actually given that micro treatment. And being the new leader of the Micromasters and the founder of Planet Micro, which later on became Planet Zone or Zone Base, he is slightly larger than your standard Micromaster, and is also kind of a continuation spiritually of that core class price point when you really look at it. His classic Micromaster transformation is kept in this case with this design by having his spoiler for his vehicle mode become part of his legs rather than it be something on his back. And he still stores in Star Convoy's chest to power him up and to be used all over that playset base mode. And speaking of that playset base mode, we're talking a 1-for-1 to the original here. It's big, it's beefy, it has platforms, it has turrets with even more blast effects added to it, now to a total of 4 blast effects with these ones. A good return to City Formers in a small sense, because the last few Titan classes that we got, the Tidal Wave, the Nemesis, the Cybertron Metroplex, even the Arc, they weren't really play sets for your figures to really live in a lot of ways. And so now we have a return to that with the Star Convoy, Star Optimus Prime. And because we have such a slew of Micromasters through both Siege and Earthrise, we finally have a home for our Supreme Commander in Star Convoy and our Micro City Commander with Hot Rod. Now they have a nice platform that these could all be mixed in with all the great stuff that we have with it. Really, really cool. I love that kind of stuff. I love micro play sets. I love, that kind of stuff. So it even grows even more on that. Another piece of genius, though, with this, and it's a big, deep cut, comes with the micro trailer that's included with this. Now, the original 1991 Star Convoy came with a black micro trailer, as did the Sky Gary from the Battlestars toy line, which was labeled number 0. Takara in 1991 put out 12 white micro trailers. They were numbered 1 through 12, and there never was a 13th one. Since this is the 13th Prime, they're going to label this the 13th trailer, and they even write on the back of the box here, MT13, as it's labeled. And now he is christened the 13th trailer with the 13th Prime. And we finally get that 13th trailer that we've never gotten before. Granted, again, Star Convoy did come with a trailer. It wasn't numbered, and Sky Gary's was labeled 0, but this is now officially the 13th trailer for the 13th Prime. And this micro trailer 13, aka MT13, has some new twists and turns compared to the original. It has a bunch of 5mm ports all over it, and you could detach the cab front end of his trailer and attach it to the front in different areas, and it creates this small little battle station mode for your Micromasters or even for Hot Rod itself. So that's amazing. There's like so much play value there with that, along with some lore going on. And like I said, all this kind of brilliance, and hats off to Hasbro and Takara Tomy for putting together such a smart and stellar product that not only updates a classic figure that was already a grail for so many in our fandom, but infuses deep lore and concepts into the play elements and those details too. So then, Transformers Age of the Primes Titan Class, the 13th Star Optimus Prime, is going to be $159.99, $160, cheaper than your standard original Titan price point that we got, like with, the Nemesis pretty much debuted at $199, the $200 Titan Class price point. So now we're going back to $159.99. It's going to be smaller in size, but it's jam-packed with all kinds of goodness. And I almost feel like this is, if anything, it's a spiritual HasLab item. I mean, look at past HasLab items. Big, iconic Japanese leaders that come with little micro figures. And while this one is, $159.99, the HasLabs are $179.99. So they're almost in that same kind of pricing and price point. In a lot of ways, this is a HasLab item that has a retail footprint. So fantastic stuff. I love it. It's going to come in cases of 3 instead of cases of 2 when they ship out because of the smaller box that they're going to be put into. And while we don't have a release date yet, historically in the past, Titan classes have always surfaced around June, July, and no doubt this will be no different for the summer of 2025. What a ride. Let me know what you think about all of this. And we ain't done yet here on the Transformer Slag podcast. We got panels to talk about, more reveals to cover, so stay tuned here and we'll keep you educated, entertained, and informed like we always do here on the podcast. And once again, thank you for listening.
All right, Hot Rod is back. Let's party!
More than meets the eye.